It gets better.
It gets better.
सब अच्छा हो जाएगा.
Se pone mejor.
It gets better.
The first time I was in a gay bookstore, it was at my parents' request. When I came out to them in high school, they had two things to say. First, they wanted me to be happy. And second, they asked, could I get a few books on the subject? They wanted to learn more. Things come full circle. Now, I live in Silicon Valley with my husband, Paul, and our two adorable toddlers. And the last time I was in a bookstore, it was to get parenting books.
It gets better.
It gets better.
Bubuti rin. I'm originally from Texas, and it wasn't a small town, but it wasn't exactly big either. And even though I've known that I was gay since about the age of 5, I wasn't out in high school. It was way too scary. You knew what people would think. Everybody around me was so perfect and conservative and religious, and it just wasn't a possibility. And it was a hard time. Then I went to college, and I got my first girlfriend, and I slowly started to come out, and I came out to my mother, who was very embracing, and I started to come out to my friends. And even though when I moved back to Texas after college, people were still mean, people were still hateful. You could walk down the street holding your girlfriend's hand, and people would say things like, oh, stupid dyke, and throw things at you. Life was still getting better. Every day that I was able to live as who I was, and every day that I accepted myself more and more, was a better day. And fast forward to today, and I'm living in one of the greatest cities in the world, full of gay, straight, bisexual, transgendered people who all love and embrace one another. I work for an employer who loves me and accepts me and embraces me for who I am. So my message to you is that even though it may not seem possible right now, and that road seems really long, you have to know that it gets better.
सब ठीक हो जाएगा.
همه چی بهتر میشه. It gets better.
Growing up, I was self-conscious about being an LGBT teenager, and I crossed that barrier by coming out to my family and friends. When I was interviewing with law firms in law school, I actually found myself with those same self-conscious thoughts, and they were completely unfounded. I've actually found the complete opposite to be the case, and the legal community and Orrick have been not only accepting of me as an LGBT attorney, but have really encouraged me to flourish as an LGBT attorney, whether that be with pro bono work, with recruiting, or with the firm's diversity initiative. So I think it's really important to understand that it does get better, and there are employers out there that not only accept you for who you are, but encourage you to be who you are.
It gets better.
راح حياتك تتحسن.
It gets better.
I grew up in a world where gay people did not exist. My dad was in the military, and I never saw a gay person. They weren't on TV or in the movies or in my community. The only concept of gay that I had growing up was that it was a bad thing. So slowly coming to the realization that I liked boys instead of girls was a horrible experience. I felt like I was suffering from this terrible disease, and that at any moment someone would discover my secret and I would become an outcast. There was no one I could talk to, not my friends, my family, no one, because there was no one else gay in my community. I was the only one. I felt terribly isolated and alone. I felt like the rest of my life would just be this feeling of loneliness. I clearly remember begging God to either make me straight or to take me off the face of the earth. He didn't do either of those things. And fortunately, I was unable or too scared to do them myself. And now looking back on my life, I'm happy that I just continued to live my life. I soon found out that there are other gay people in the world, that I'm not the only one. I soon also found out that people don't care whether you're gay. There are communities and people around the world who do not care. I came out to my family and friends, and most of them didn't care either. I have since found my best friend, who I've been with for the past 12 years, and will live the rest of my life with. I work at a fantastic job, at a law firm. with great people who don't care that I'm gay. I live in New York, the gayest city in the world. I am happy, and I cannot imagine my life being any better. So trust me, it will get better. You're no different than I am.
One day you're going to wake up and you're going to have a life where you're loved and accepted for who you are, and it's going to be great. So it gets better.